This short film has over 3 fight scenes. We do have one happening indoor, another one happening outside but was very dark, and another one happening inside the school. And what I wanted was a camera that would keep up. Hey, what's up beautiful people? As you can see, we are back all strong, and in this video we are going to talk about the reason why I did pick the Lumix S5IIX to shoot 2 short film. Basically, this includes this camera's amazing features such as open gate, that is for more flexibility in reframing and deliverable. We also talk about E-Stabilization for speed and accuracy, recording option flexibility such as Blackmagic Raw and ProRes RAW. There is so much that we are going to talk about, including this camera's ability to keep up in a fast-paced production environment. Also, we will talk about the overall footage look, how easy it is to grade in Resolve, and basically the full capability of this camera. I did use the Lumix S5IIX on 2 short films. There's this one that we are talking about, and there's another one that I cannot wait to share with you guys. And on the other project, we had a greater budget, we had amazing cast, crew, amazing location, and we had a fantastic set of lenses. I'm talking about Zeiss Super Speed and Cook Speed Pancro, which are actually my favorite lenses. Also guys, if you've not seen my previous Lumix S5IIX video, I would suggest you go and watch it. In that video, I talk about everything, what I like, what I don't like, what I would have wanted Lumix to change, and so much more, plus what I find super annoying about that camera. And basically, it's all about spec and my experience of using it to the level that I used it before. So I would leave the link in the description. Also, I'll leave it at the end of this video. First of all, why did I pick the Lumix S5IIX? And the answer to that is the story that I was telling dictated the camera that I wanted. And honestly, this will make more sense to you when I get to talk about everything, because you will actually get to see what I pick as the best line. And I had to choose the camera that had all those tools only because the story that I was telling needed a camera that would keep up. The story needed a camera that had all the tools that I needed. The camera that would allow me to create without compromising on anything. I mean, I want the best quality, the best codec, the best tool, and the most affordable sensor in a body. Also guys, as a filmmaker, I wanted to think about what was great for the project and have it in the best way that I can to kind of like help boost the production value of this project. And basically, when I had to go through all the cameras, the Lumix just did make more sense to me, and you will see why later in this video. First of all, let me put you on the story or the storyline. Basically, this film purpose was to teach, encourage, and basically inspire young adults not to get involved in drug, knife crime, and anything crime related. This is actually something that's affecting the UK, especially London. Also guys, if you do remember from the video I posted a while ago, I was actually robbed at knife point and I got stabbed while filming, and all my tools and equipment got taken away from me. So the whole experience, or the whole scary moment, gave me so much understanding about this crime and how they happen and how fast they happen. And honestly, the whole reality of me wanting to die and losing my kids gave me so much tips to use on this film, and you will see how we actually managed to replicate this thing, and it was very good. What I've learned from my experience getting robbed is that this thing happened super quick. In under 3 minutes, I was attacked. I got stabbed once. I also avoided a big knife slice on my neck, another one on my chest. To be honest, the shoulder rig that I had saved me. By the way, you can go and watch that video on how I got robbed, and you'd get to see more about the story that I'm telling you. So basically, they overpowered me, they took my camera, and I had a backpack on my back, so they had to chase me while also holding my own equipment, because they also wanted to take the backpack that I had. So when they could not reach me, they got in the car and they dip straight away. And then within a few months, here I am shooting a film about knife crime and violence, which honestly was very close to home, and I wanted to do it. And here are actually a few words that I came up with that helped me to pick up the camera, or the best camera. Number 1 was fast, and number 2 was accurate. Number 3 was stable and nimble, and number 4 was actually good and quality. So basically, this was the words that I had to pick, and I could not compromise. And all the camera that I had to check, it had to tick all those boxes. And now let me actually break each word down, and you will see how the Lumix S5IIX fit in that, and altogether was a very good combo for these short films. Obviously, the first word is fast, and the question relating to that is, how fast can I shoot if I wanted to, or if everything was ready? Because remember, this is a film about knife crime, robbery, and drugs and everything. And honestly, we had a great location that we wanted to use, but we did not have permission to close down the street, which means a small clearance was very important, that we just had to go get what we want and get out of the way. So the camera being fast was very, very important for me, and basically that is what the Lumix did for us. Another thing was, how fast can I set this camera up and be ready to go? Because when you're filming young kid, especially London, there's so much unpredictability that can happen, and honestly, I wanted to capture everything without the camera telling me wait for 30 minutes for me to turn around. That's actually exaggerating. Or wait for 30 seconds to turn up, and wait for another 15 seconds to reach temperature, or wait for calibration. No, this was not those type of project that need those type of cameras. As you can see, most of our scenes actually happen outside the school, or walking to school, or walking from school. And honestly, all I wanted was to communicate with the gaffer and tell him how I wanted the scene to look in terms of like the visual, kind of like aesthetic side of things, so he would light it. And my goal was to frame nice, communicate with sound, and be ready to go without having to wait for so much time or wasting time. My camera setup actually ended up being very minimalistic. We're talking about the shoulder rig, the Lumix S5IIX body, a zoom lens. We did have a matte box, small rig, and also some ND filters. We also had the V-mount battery, a dummy battery, and external recorder, or T5, that's what I use. And I also use an external microphone for gray scratch audio. And the reason why I did this is because basically the whole moving fast was that I want to be able to just grab my shoulder rig and get the shots, and if I feel like that's really big, strip down the camera and get the handheld, which again I'll talk about that more later in this video. Another word was accuracy, only because I really wanted the camera to play as a character in some of the scenes, which means I wanted the shot to be as realistic as they could be. because most of these kids, they live this life and they are about it. And honestly, I wanted them to watch this and feel like, well, this is representing our street life 100%. And I just wanted everything to be super clean and a bit edgy, because that really reflects on the character of the kids that we had. Because honestly, by looking at some of the kids, they're about it and they was ready to go, which was also very good from the casting team. Now, relating to the camera, the autofocus accuracy was important. This was the only way we could actually keep up with the speed of the scene and character profile. Not only that, and how is the subtlety of that autofocus. I didn't want something to look very amateurish. I wanted smooth, natural, and I wanted something that shifted in very accurate way. And again, phase detection autofocus meant that one can shoot any fast scene without having to worry about the focus puller missing focus, which was very important because we actually did not have that much time. Also, most of the fights, we did want them to happen very natural. I mean, just as how they happen, or just as how they robbed me, which you will see later. And the reason why this was very important to get this out of the way, it also basically most of the people that we had on set, some of them had their parents coming to pick them up at a certain time, and we didn't want to waste their time. So this phase detection coming through, or the Lumix S5IIX having a very good and fast, accurate autofocus, was very important for us on this project, or to me as a DP. Another word which I actually combined two words together was stable and nimble. And honestly, this is what actually got me to like this camera even more. Now, if we can relate nimble and stable to the Lumix S5IIX, that goes with the whole in-body image stabilization. And honestly, that was a game changer, having to see how it does perform. And one thing that really impressed me was that with the image stabilization, I was actually able to get all the shots that I want. It was very smooth and stable. And what really impressed me about this camera was when we actually got to shoot all the fast scene or all the fight scene. As you know, we wanted the fight scene to happen just as how they happen on the street, which means there was too fast, almost like you blink once you miss a movement. And we did not want to slow down anything, but this camera did keep up. When I tell you it did keep up, I was very impressed, because I actually remember doing a rehearsal and I pushed this camera where we had to watch everything. I was like, what? It worked. So basically, stabilization combined with autofocus, because obviously, you know, they go hand in hand when you want to keep your character all focus or all in focus, and we was very impressed. Another impressive thing is some shots were actually required to be done at night, and basically this camera being nimble, it was great, which also allowed me to kind of like film everything with a small footprint. I actually strap everything down without getting noticed. As you know, I've been robbed once, and my fear was actually that we are going to create a lot of attention, but because this camera again is super small, I actually stripped down everything. And I remember filming at night in this alleyway. I was so impressed by number one, the autofocus is working in the dark and I'm actually going super fast, and also the IBIS was still working, which was very good. Another thing that I actually did get to like was the ISO on this camera. Obviously the native is 640 and 4000, so I was actually able to do all the indoor shots on 640. Somehow I've got this thing in my mind where I do not go above 800. I don't know, tell me if you feel the same. So All the indoor shot was done on 640 and everything else was between 3200 and 4000, and honestly the noise performance was very good. But something that I had to do on a shot outside, I actually had a gaffer with me all the time. There was some additional lights that sometimes you could not see, and sometimes it feels like it's just there, but he added it. So that was great to see everything again come together to help us being creative and help us tell a story that we wanted to tell. Another thing on my list was flexibility, and oh my, this camera gives you so much flexibility. And one of the things that I did take advantage of was open gate, and that's because, as you know, we're talking about different families and different kids, and some of these kids come from a low income home, which means some of the location had to be small to kind of portray those type of people. And using open gate in this situation, it did allow me to get the full sensor readout that we then later had to reframe in a way that it worked beautifully for the story, which was very helpful. Speaking about helpful, the flexibility of shooting either Blackmagic Raw or ProRes RAW, that is super dope. Hey, do you have a project? Does it need ProRes? You can shoot in ProRes. Does it need Blackmagic Raw? You can actually shoot in Blackmagic Raw. So basically, how far you can push your project is up to you, your budget and your colorist, because or you can just show up and hey, I'm shooting something that's very fast to turn around. Get your SD card, put it in the camera, shoot and get that SD inside your laptop and edit and send that to the client. And oh, do you want to shoot with the T5? Yes, you can do that. Or do you really want to shoot with the CF Express? That is one thing that I do love about this camera, and honestly it is very important to have this flexibility. Also, this camera have all the tools that you want. I'm talking about waveform. Are you an anamorphic shooter? You can shoot anamorphic. Not only that, you can actually de-stretch in camera, which is very dope. And another thing that I actually like about this camera is that they give you so many stretch with different anamorphic lenses that you can actually use it to your advantage. So basically everything is there when you need it, and that's the camera that we need as a filmmaker. All the tools that help you to control your exposure and every other thing is just there. Waveform, zebra, a vector scope, and basically shutter angle, which I actually get to use a lot because I sometimes use the Lumix and my Red camera, which is very good to actually see Lumix pushing the envelope. And one of the things that I get to see people releasing cameras and say, hey, this is a video-centric camera. Some video-centric camera that I see, they don't even have shutter angle. They don't even have waveform, which is, hey, I'll let you be the judge of that. The last two things on my word was good and quality, and honestly these are actually things that was very evident in everything. Good image quality and good quality. Also good codec, good image quality, good camera that's easy to carry, easy to rig, easy to strip down, and good ergonomics. And basically that is what this camera was able to give me. Also guys, I would love it if you take your time and just hit that subscribe and turn on your notification bell icon so you're not going to miss when I post videos like this. Let's go back into the video. Also guys, just so you know, we've got so many scenes that needed another camera, and what I did choose was the Lumix G9 Mark II. And the reason why I actually did choose the G9 Mark II was that I actually wanted the same color science, same speed. I wanted a camera that's gonna cut better with the Lumix S5 S5IIX. That's why I actually picked the G9, which was also amazing. The last scene on this project was actually two people confronting each other. So there's a bit of kidnapping going on, and one guy was not really happy about what went down, and he went and saved the kids because he believed this is not the best way to do things or to want money. And honestly, I would say this is where I go to see how good this camera is. And check this out. So Justin, the fight choreographer, spent so much time prepping these guys to be able to go at it in the best way that they could. And also when we went to the location, we did pick a location that was honestly the best location for that scene. Also, it was also a lot of things around the place to show how ghetto the place look. I had to speak to the actors, guys, I want this, you can push this, hey. And I said to this guy, if you want to get a punch, listen, just take a punch for me, bro. He was like, I got you. And honestly, on this scene, the first thing that I did, number one, I did pick the focal length that I wanted to go, and I really shot a bit wider because I was actually shooting in 5K, because I knew the whole thing is gonna end up in 3.5K or even 2K. So there was a lot of room to crop in and out. Also, I was shooting open gate, which means we have way more flexibility. And another thing that I did, I actually had to strip down the camera so I can just have my hand on the camera and on the lens. And let me tell you, this scene was dope.
Well, go on, man. Hey, you shake, man. Shake. You shake. Hey, stop, man. Hey, stop, man. Get away from me. See you. Hey, Richard, get out of here, bud. Get out of here, you shoot, man. See you. Hey, man, them, shut up. Shut up, man. Shut up. Shut up. Hey, shake. Shut up, man. Shake. Where you at, man? Shake. Whoa. What?
How do you want to handle this?
This shoot's a waste, man. It ain't even worth it, bro. Get out of here, man.
I pushed this camera, and honestly, the way I moved the Lumix S5IIX on shooting this scene, even myself was aware, did I miss anything? And the focus shift was so smooth and naturally, and it wasn't really very distracting. And the camera movement, and sometimes we'll be in someone's face and move it back and like turn it around. And honestly, when we go to check the shot, I could not have been happier. Also, I don't know if you notice, everything is shot in one take, and most of the fight it is one take. And the reason why I did that is because number one, I trusted my ability to pull this off, because again, I had communicated with all the people involved and I knew I can do it. And number two, I did rely heavily on the camera that I was using. Number one, I knew this sensor is fast enough to literally move in and out without giving me an image that I'm not happy with. I knew the IBIS would keep up and give me a stable image that still have that shaky, kind of like mimicking the high action. I knew the autofocus would be good enough, and I knew everything would work well together. Honestly, this camera is for those people looking for a very good and affordable camera, because you can actually rig this camera and make it bigger, or you can strip it down and make it super small and travel with it, even blend in as a consumer camera with a killer sensor. So guys, that is it for this video. I honestly want to say super thank you for my Lumix contact. You guys have been amazing, and you know who you are. You guys, every time when I email you for the camera, honestly, you always send it, and I'm so grateful for having you guys supporting this channel. So guys, that is it for today. If you're new here again, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell icon so you don't miss when I post a video like this.